Today, we're going to trace the very arteries of a nation. We're taking a journey through the river systems of Pakistan, the lifeblood that has literally shaped this land and its people for thousands of years. All right, let's jump right in.
And this map is going to be our guide. Every single blue line you see here isn't just water. It's a story of farming, of history, of survival. The whole country is really defined by three totally different river systems, and we're about to explore every single one.
So, here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with the big one, the mighty Indus system. Then, things get a little weird with the mysterious interior rivers. These are the ones that actually never make it to the sea. After that, we'll check out the super efficient Makran coastal system, and then we'll tie it all together for the complete picture.
All right, first up, the Indus system. And look, it's impossible to overstate how important this is. We're not just talking about a bunch of rivers. This is the largest, most critical lifeline in the entire country, period.
So just how big are we talking? Well, the Indus River itself is 2,900 kilometers long. To put that into perspective for you, that's about the same distance as driving from London to Moscow. It is an absolutely colossal waterway.
So, let's trace its path here on the map. You can see it starts way up in the northern mountains and flows all the way down to the south. But here's the thing, it doesn't make this massive journey alone. It gets fed by a whole network of other rivers, which we call tributaries, that flow in from both the east and the west.
The Indus basically has two different families of rivers feeding it. Coming in from the east, you've got the famous 5 rivers of Punjab, the Sutlej, Bias, Ravi, Chenab, and Jhelum. Then from the west, a whole bunch of others like the Gilgit, Swat, and Kabul join in. It's a real team effort, with each river adding its water and power to the mighty Indus. So what happens when all that water, carrying all that sediment, flows together for centuries? You get this, the Indus Plain. It's this enormous flat area, and the source material actually calls it one of the most important and fertile plains in the world. And that's the key. This plain is the agricultural heart of Pakistan. It's where most people live. It's really no surprise that one of the world's first great civilizations, the Indus Valley Civilization, grew up right here.
Now, the Indus system follows that classic route, right? River starts, river flows, river ends up in the ocean. But not all rivers in Pakistan follow the roles, and that brings up a really interesting question. What happens when a river just stops?
And that brings us to our second system, which is found in the huge dry landscapes of Balochistan in the southwest. These are the region's hidden waters, and trust me, they have a very different story to tell.
Okay, so check this out. In this part of the country, rivers come down from the mountains. But instead of flowing to the Arabian Sea, they just vanish. They drain into these local inland lakes, creating a totally closed system. It's this wild geographical anomaly that creates its own unique, super dry ecosystem where life has had to adapt to water that comes and goes.
And that brings us to our third and final system, the Makran coastal system. And if the last system was the mystery, this one is the exact opposite. It's all about a direct, no-nonsense path straight to the sea.
The journey for these rivers is short and sweet. It's pretty simple. They start in the coastal mountains, they flow south, and bam, they empty right into the Arabian Sea. No long, winding journeys, and definitely no disappearing acts.
This whole system is made up of a bunch of smaller rivers, like the Hub, Parali, Hingol, and the Dasht. And unlike the giant Indus, they don't have many tributaries, which is why their paths are so direct. But don't let their size fool you. They are absolutely essential for the fishing villages and farming communities all along the Makran coast.
So let's zoom out now and look at the whole picture. We've seen 3 completely different river systems, but together, they all work to shape one single, very complex landscape. And this little chart really sums it up perfectly. You've got the massive Indus system, that sprawling network that hits the Arabian Sea and supports most of the nation. Then you have the strange interior system, where rivers just end in lakes. And finally, you have the direct-to-the-point Makran coast system, also reaching the Arabian Sea, but taking care of the coastline.
So here's the main takeaway. It's the combination of these 3 systems, the mighty one, the hidden one, and the coastal one, that really defines Pakistan's geography. Each one plays a totally unique part in shaping the country's relationship with its most important resource, water.
You know, for thousands of years, these rivers have been the foundation of civilization here. They've built entire empires and fed millions upon millions of people. And that leaves us with one last, pretty big question to think about. As our world keeps changing, what does the future hold for these ancient, vital waterways?